Coming up, beat the heat. An early season heat wave is gripping tens of millions across the country. Why it's important for you to drink water and stay hydrated. Then, Moonshot program. What if you got to decide what you study in school? We'll visit one school putting kids in charge of their learning.
I've done the history of fashion. We've done Christmas in different countries.
I would say I'm a lot more independent with doing stuff on my own. So I think everyone should give Moonshot a try.
Also, historic moment. The first American Pope is elected to lead the Catholic Church. We're there with the details, along with my surprise conversation with Pope Leo. Plus, this baby giraffe is stealing the show. Everything you want to know about the world's tallest land animals. And one-on-one with Rory McIlroy, fresh off his Masters win. The golf great speaks with our pal Jackson Daly about his career Grand Slam and also offers some important advice when it comes to dealing with pressure.
You put yourself in so many situations where, I'm sure your nerves are so high. How do you deal with those nerves, and what would you say to someone who's like a younger kid also dealing with those nerves?
So the thing that I would say is, like, nerves are natural. Nerves, I think everyone gets nervous from time to time depending on what you're doing and what's important to you.
This is NBC Nightly News, Kids Edition.
Welcome back to Nightly News Kids Edition. It is so great to be with you. Hope you're all having a good week. We have a terrific lineup ahead, from our pop quiz to a graduation story like no other. Plus, a little later on, Jackson Daly's interview with Rory McIlroy. You won't want to miss that. But first, let's begin with one of the top stories we are following this week, the record heat. Some parts of the country are experiencing an early heat wave, including in the Midwest and South. A number of cities broke or tied records this week for high temperatures. And with this extreme heat, it got us thinking about something that is super important for our bodies: water. Our good pal, Dr. John Torres, will explain why.
Water is essential for nearly every living thing on Earth, including us people. But why? Well, for us humans, many of the jobs our body does need water. In fact, every single cell in the body needs water to work. It helps with movement by cushioning the joints and tissues, plays a big role in making saliva and digesting food, and assists with regulating body temperature. So how much water does a person need? That depends on a few factors, like age, the temperature, and what activities someone is doing. A common benchmark for water is 8 glasses a day, but that can be a little confusing because we get water from a variety of sources. Of course, from drinking it, but also through food. Fruits and vegetables have a lot of water. So does yogurt and soup, and even my favorite, popsicles. If it's hot outside or you're doing physical activity, you'll need more water because these situations cause you to sweat, which is your body working to cool itself down. Sweating uses a lot of water. Not having enough water can cause dehydration. That's when your body doesn't have the amount of water it needs to carry out its normal functions. Symptoms include extreme thirst, dizziness, and fatigue. Most of the time, dehydration can be reversed by drinking water and resting. In more severe cases, you may need to go to the doctor. To prevent dehydration, don't wait till you're super thirsty to start drinking water. You should drink it throughout the day. Try to make that a habit.
All right, Dr. John Torres, thanks so much. All right, now let's test your news smarts to see if you've been paying attention to the current events. President Donald Trump is on his first major international trip of his presidency this week. The question for you: which one of these countries is President Trump visiting this week? Is it A, Saudi Arabia, B, Italy, or C, Russia? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay, time's up. The answer is A, Saudi Arabia. President Trump is visiting Saudi Arabia this week as part of a 3-nation tour to the Middle East. Now to our picture of the week, and it's a historic one. Last Thursday, Pope Leo was elected the leader of the Catholic Church and the 1.4 billion Catholics around the world. He emerged on the balcony to greet a huge crowd gathered on St. Peter's Square. Why is his election so historic? Well, Pope Leo is the first American to ever become Pope. Born and raised in Chicago, Pope Leo also spent many years in Peru. I was in Rome covering the conclave, and much to my surprise, I had a brief conversation with Pope Leo during a meeting he held with journalists at the Vatican. What a moment. It was an unexpected moment at a speech to invited international media members, Pope Leo concluding his remarks and then walking to the front rows, where we had a brief off-mic chat. I asked him about the significance of an American pope. "You tell me," he said, before sharing an anecdote about an individual returning to the church because there was now an American pope.
Good morning, and thank you for this wonderful reception. They say when they clap at the beginning, it doesn't matter much. If you're still awake at the end and you still want to applaud, thank you very much.
Pope Leo showing his humorous side at the start of the meeting. The event itself was not a news conference, rather a timely message to the news media itself. The Pope speaking of the need to safeguard what he called the gift of free speech and of the press, remarks that drew a warm response from the invited journalists. 4 days into his papacy, Pope Leo seemed at ease, even signing the baseball of one attendee. What did he say?
He said White Sox or Cubs, and I said White Sox.
Playfully donning a well-wisher's colorful sash and blessing babies. But there was a lot of business ahead. In our brief moment together, I asked him whether he has plans to return to the U.S. anytime soon. His answer, not yet. It was truly an incredible moment. Let's turn now to education. Have you ever imagined what school would be like if you didn't have to worry about getting grades and you could study anything you want? Well, one school in rural Pennsylvania is trying out a bold experiment that puts kids in charge. This story is sponsored by Walton Family Foundation, and we get details from our friend Allison Barber.
Good morning! Good morning, everybody.
At an elementary school just outside of Pittsburgh.
How are you today?
Class looks and feels a little different. In this classroom, kids get to pick their own study topics. Everything from tornadoes to roller skating.
He's going to bring in his roller skates.
Even the world's most haunted houses.
So you could even do some research on that since you did research on California.
It's all part of a regular school day in what's called the Moonshot program.
I've done the history of fashion. We've done Christmas in different countries.
Right now, I'm studying Mount Olympus.
75 students are part of the program.
We were just coming out of COVID, and they needed something that would help them get that spark back.
We can talk about that. We can talk about like the science behind it.
For Moonshot teachers like Heather Nicholson, creating assignments based around students' unique interests is a gateway to teaching other important subjects like reading, writing, and math.
Learning about, say, Mount Olympus. We're talking about Greek mythology. We're also talking about some writing prompts. So we'll write about it. What does it look like? What do you see there? And then we can do some math. How tall is it? You know, how wide is it? We can just tie those all in.
The mountain had a lot of water on it.
Okay.
Of course, that's all gone now. It's all evaporating, that kind of stuff.
Superintendent Laura Jacob told us she started the program partly as a way to help ease students' anxiety.
I think it helps encourage a child to also think broader and say, well, what am I interested in, and how can I tie that together with what I'm learning?
And stress over getting good grades is common. According to a recent poll, 64% of students ages 9 to 13 say school is what they worry about most often.
A lot of people get their grades, you know, their numbers or letters, and all they think of, like, what if my parents see this?
In the Moonshot program, students do not get letter grades.
They don't have that stress of, I have to have that A.
They know what they need to work on thanks to high-quality feedback, where teachers directly tell students what they did well and what they can work on in the future.
If I just tell you, great, you did a good job today. You don't know what that great or good statement has really highlighted. However, if I have a paper and I say, I'm really proud of you because you made sure that you capitalized this area, used correct punctuation, and you ensured that your commas were in the correct spot, that helps children learn better.
I really like the feedback, so I know what I need to work on and what I'm doing good on, so that really helps me.
It's nice to be able to see, like, you are doing very good with your work, Ridley, but I think you could improve on your solving methods.
And the program seems to be working. The school says kids in Moonshot perform higher in reading and math compared to other students in Pennsylvania.
I'm in 5th grade, but I take 6th grade reading and math classes.
I'm intaking information and trying to learn this stuff myself, which makes it stick with me for a lot longer.
The best part? The classroom itself.
The classroom is made for us to be creative and be able to do things that we want to do, whether that's flexible seating or us being able to go up to the teacher whenever we need. We can do whatever we're comfortable and do our work.
Not being stuck behind a desk is very nice.
For the students here, having even a little control over their learning has made a big impact.
So having a nice area with good students and an amazing teacher has really helped me.
Moonshot is just a very fun and creative program that lets kids learn what they want, expand their knowledge, and expand their minds beyond the classroom.
I would say I'm a lot more independent with doing stuff on my own. So I think everyone should give Moonshot a try.
Allison, thanks very much. Okay, time for our pop quiz. This week, the subject is geography. The question, where is Mount Rushmore located? Is it A, North Dakota, B, South Dakota, or C, Nebraska? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay, time is up. The answer is B, South Dakota. Mount Rushmore is a national memorial located in the Black Hills region of South Dakota. The massive sculpture features the faces of 4 U.S. presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. The original idea of creating a sculpture was dreamed up by the state's historian back in 1923 as a way to attract tourists to the state, and it worked. All right, in zoo news this week, it's graduation time at the Fort Worth Zoo. 12 lesser flamingo chicks have flown the nest and just graduated to the adult habitat. The chicks were hand-reared and received around-the-clock care, including getting daily walks to allow their long legs to get strong. Born a kind of fluffy white or gray, the chicks will eventually get that characteristic pink coloring by age 3 or so. Did you know that lesser flamingos are the smallest of flamingo species? They are listed as threatened due to habitat alteration. Their births mark an important milestone for the Fort Worth Zoo and conservation efforts for this species. Meantime, say hello to Thorn. The Denver Zoo just announced the name of its new baby giraffe after the public voted. Thorn is the first giraffe born at the Denver Zoo since 2017. The zoo says he's already showing off some impressive running skills, and the birth of Thorn got us thinking about what makes giraffes so special. Our friend Erin McLaughlin caught up with the team at Zoo Miami to find out.
The giraffe is one of the most majestic creatures in the animal kingdom.
The giraffe is the tallest land animal on Earth. Females get to be about 14, 15 feet. Males can get to be 18 feet tall.
The biggest giraffes can weigh 2,800 pounds. That's as heavy as a small car.
Good girl.
Zoo Miami's Ron McGill says giraffes' long necks help them get ahead in the race for food.
They have a very long neck, and it enables them to reach leaves that other animals can't reach, so it removes competition. It's an adaptation to get food, but also it's an adaptation to be great lookouts. They can see predators or danger way before other animals can.
A giraffe consumes hundreds of pounds of leaves each week, so they're always looking for their next meal. They spend so much time eating, there's not much time to rest. In fact, they can sleep as little as 30 minutes a day.
Giraffes are very gentle creatures. They really do not pose a threat to anything. They can be dangerous if they're threatened. They can protect themselves with very powerful kicks.
Giraffe legs can be as tall as people, 6 feet long. And those big strides allow them to run fast, up to 35 miles per hour for short bursts.
They're a very elegant animal. They walk very beautifully. Even when they run, they look like they're running in slow motion, but they're running very quickly because of those very long legs.
One incredible adaptation is found inside the giraffe's mouth. It's a tongue that looks sort of like a snake.
Let's see the tongue. Let's see. There you go. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay, buddy. They have this very long tongue. It comes out almost 16, 17 inches. It's very thick skin. It's actually dark in coloration, so it protects them against the sun, against sunburn. But they'll use that tongue to strip the leaves off of the acacia tree, which has big thorns on it, which is why that very thick tongue is important. It protects the tongue from being injured by those thorns.
In nature, giraffes are only found in Africa, but more than 50 have been born here at Zoo Miami. And each one is unique, just like you.
The pattern of a giraffe is very much like our fingerprints. No two patterns are alike. They can be identified by those patterns.
Did you know your neck is more similar to a giraffe's neck than you might think?
One of the questions I commonly get asked is, oh my goodness, how many bones are in the neck of a giraffe? You know, people ask, well, how many bones do we have? Humans have 7 bones in their neck. It's a trick question because giraffes also only have 7 bones in their neck. They're just very long bones.
Sadly, the wild population of these beautiful animals started declining in 2016. Their natural habitat has been shrinking, and many giraffes are lost to hunters. But you can take steps to make sure this once abundant species continues to thrive.
One of the best things you can do to help giraffe is go to a zoo, learn about them, where the giraffe are. You can contribute to the conservation programs that zoos have to help protect them in the wild, or just go online and learn about those organizations that you can then help.
You could even try a more hands-on approach to helping giraffes.
If you go to a zoo like here at Zoo Miami, you might be able to go up to a platform and actually feed a giraffe. And I'll tell you, when you're able to look at a giraffe eye to eye, you see that long tongue come out, take that piece of lettuce out of your hand, it makes a connection.
And a chance to come eye to eye with the tallest creatures walking the earth today.
Okay, Aaron, thanks very much for that. Finally, in this week's Kids Spotlight, golf great Rory McIlroy. We're still cheering for McIlroy after he won the Masters tournament last month for the first time in his legendary career, finally completing a Grand Slam. Our pal Jackson Daly recently sat down with Rory McIlroy to talk about the Masters, what's next, and his advice for kids.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me today, and congratulations on everything that you've been able to accomplish at this point in your career.
Thank you.
And I just want to start off with, how much weight was lifted off your shoulders as that jacket touched your shoulders?
Probably more than I realized. I've never had an emotional release like that before, and I think I probably didn't realize the weight that I was carrying by trying to win the Masters and trying to complete the Grand Slam. And I don't know if I'll ever have a feeling like that again. It was so cool, and I don't think people realize at times that maybe the stress that they're under and you try to distract yourself and do certain things, but it was certainly nice to sort of feel that weight that's been lifted.
I mean, you put yourself in so many situations where, I'm sure your nerves are so high. How do you deal with those nerves, and what would you say to someone who's like a younger kid also dealing with those nerves?
So the thing that I would say is, nerves are natural. Nerves, I think everyone gets nervous from time to time depending on what you're doing and what's important to you. I think the bigger issue would be if you didn't get nervous, because it would mean that it didn't mean anything to you. So nerves are natural, and it's just about trying to figure out ways to not even calm your nerves, but to just be able to function while you're having these feelings. So whether it's a simple mantra or a simple thought, that's sort of what's worked best for me on the golf course. Is I try to simplify what I'm doing. I try to break it down into one clear thought, and then that's all I try to focus on. And if I do that and I make that the main focus, you're still nervous, but it sort of fades into the background a little bit. So yeah.
Coming from a small town, Hollywood, Northern Ireland, and becoming one of the greatest golfers of all time seems like a long shot, but you did it. What would you say to kids who feel like their dreams and hopes are a long shot?
There's one thing that I thought about, even before I won the Masters, if I ever did, what did I want my message to be? I wanted it to mean something more than me just winning a golf tournament, and I tried for 17 years to win the Masters. And I think I showed a lot of resilience, and I kept showing up, and I didn't give up. And I think that's the thing, it's not giving up and believing in yourself and not letting anyone tell you that you can't. I think if you have the right mindset and you work hard enough, I think anyone is capable of whatever they want to do, with the right support system and making sure that you have that as well. And I've been very lucky to have an amazing support system the whole way throughout my life, with, you know, starting with my parents and, you know, my family, my wife and daughter and my team. And so I think that's super important too, to have the right people around you. But my message was, you know, don't give up. You know, if you get knocked down, don't let it discourage you. Come back, keep trying. And, you know, the road to success isn't a linear, straight pathway. There's going to be ups and downs, and it's, you know, you just have to realize that the times where you do fail, they're important as well, because if you can learn from them and come back and be better because of it, you know, that's the big thing.
And talking about your support system, you've known your caddy since you were 7 years old.
Yeah.
And now you get to share arguably the biggest victory of your career with him. Yeah. So what was it like just having someone you call your big brother there, and how has he been there for you the whole way?
Yeah, Harry and I, we've known each other. We met on the putting green at Hollywood Golf Club, and, you know, we've had so many great times. You know, we're big, you know, soccer fans. We go to a lot of Manchester United games. We've shared a lot of great times together. But to share that on that golf course, and, you know, I collapsed to my knees after I held that winning putt, and I stood up, and the first person I saw was Harry. You know, and it's just like, I can't believe that we've just done this together. So that was incredibly special and meaningful, and, you know, obviously that's a memory we're going to have for the rest of our lives, and we're going to be able to talk about that and share that and tell that story. So I wouldn't have wanted anyone else to, you know, to be there for that moment, and, you know, that was really cool.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, actually about a year ago this week, I sat down right here with Tiger, and I asked him, obviously Charlie is a big golfer and he's into golf, but I asked him about his daughter and how she feels about golf. And he said that she rejects it because it, quote, takes her away from daddy. And I'm wondering, your daughter's obviously a lot younger, but as she grows up, how would you find that balance?
I would love Poppy to take an interest in golf, which she already has. She takes lessons, and whether I would want her to go into like the competitive environment of golf is a different thing, but I like that she's got an interest, and she's still young enough that she travels with us quite a bit, so she finds golf tournaments a lot of fun. You know, she can obviously still see me quite a lot while she's there, so I don't think she's gotten to the age yet where she correlates me going to a golf tournament with like going away and not seeing me. But for me, with our daughter, I'm, you know, whatever she's into, you know, whether it's the arts or music or whatever, I just want her to be passionate about something, you know, and I think that's the big thing. If you can find a passion and you can, you know, have interests, and I think that's really, really important. I think it's really cool that Charlie wants to try to follow in his dad's footsteps, but it's also cool what he said about Sam. Like, Sam's trying to pave her own way and trying to do her own thing, which is very admirable as well.
You know, speaking about your daughter, when she grows up and looks back on your Hall of Fame golf career, which is far from over, what do you want her to take away from it?
I think what we talked about before, not giving up and staying the course, and, you know, I think work ethic is a big thing. And I think that hopefully that's what she sees when she looks at my golf career and what I've been able to achieve. Like, I grew up in a world where I certainly didn't have the opportunities that she's going to have. So the one lesson, hopefully, from my career is working hard and dedicating yourself. And, you know, if she can get that from it, then, you know, that I'd be super happy.
Last question. Your Hall of Fame golf career is far from over.
Yeah, hopefully.
And, well, yes. And people are talking a lot about the past, but about 37 miles from here is a small public course called Bethpage Black, home of the 2025 Ryder Cup. And I mean, you are the face of Team Europe. And coming off of your victory in 2023, how are you and Team Europe feeling about it?
Anytime you have to go play an away Ryder Cup, it's a really tough deal. Like, there's a reason that the last time an away team won was 2012, and even before that, it goes way back. So it's always tough. You're not, you know, you're playing the 12 American players, but you're also playing the crowd, a very partisan crowd that is going to be, you know, so much for America, and that's, you know, you Long Island, New York sports fans, it's going to be tough. Like, that's what it is. So we've got off to a good start. Like, I feel like all the Europeans are in good form this year. You know, I've done what I've done. You know, Ludwig's playing well. Victor's coming back into form. You got Shane, Tommy Fleetwood, you know, everyone seems to be in pretty good form. So look, we know how tough it's going to be, but I would say we're quietly confident. We've got a great captain in Luke Donald, you know, and we're going to try to repeat, which would be, you know, one of the last goals in my career, I think, is I've been part of one away Ryder Cup team that has won in Chicago in 2012. I'd love to be part of another one. So this is a good opportunity this year.
Well, good luck at the Ryder Cup. Congrats on the Masters and everything that you were doing.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Jackson, a terrific interview. Thanks very much. Well, that is going to do it for us. I hope you learned a few things and had some fun. Just a program note, you can catch Nightly News Kids Edition this Saturday on NBC. Check your local listing for the time in your area. Thanks for watching, and remember to take care of yourself and each other. So long. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.